Hey everybody, and welcome to week 3. This week we move into development, and we're going to be talking about writing lesson plans, and particularly using Gagne's 9 steps of instruction as the framework for writing those lesson plans. So just to briefly recap, in week 1 we did a very brief cursory analysis of a current training project on which you're working or a project on which you have worked. And we tried to identify some specific things about that project. We tried to identify the target audience as well as the core content, what the course was intending to teach or accomplish, and then ultimately how we will know if you've been successful. So what will be the measurements? What will be the evaluation indicators? And we did that through an exercise called In 2 Sentences. And that was back in week 1 when we first started looking at the system of instruction. Then we moved into design in week 2, and we took those 2 sentences and we pulled them out a little more elaborately with a little more detail into a design plan. And in the design plan, you wrote your rationale, your target population, your course description. You talked about the objectives, you listed those out, your participant and facilitator prerequisites, and you also identified your deliverables. And among those deliverables was most likely a lesson plan. And a lesson plan is written to ensure that the intended design that the designer has drafted in sort of a blueprint style gets developed with full fidelity, and that those materials that are developed get implemented or delivered in a way that best translates the intention into action. And one of the ways we do that is by crafting a lesson plan against Gagne's 9 steps of instruction. So Gagne said that there are 9 sequential steps that you are likely to find in all instructional events. And they look just like this. The first is gaining attention, moving into describing a goal, which we often use as an opportunity to state the learning objectives. Stimulating prior knowledge or recalling experiences or information that students might have to bring to bear on the current course of instruction. Presenting material, so this delivery style, more didactic in nature, unilateral from instructor to student presentation of material in a conventional training environment. Providing guidance, eliciting performance or letting the students practice, giving them feedback. And steps 4 through 7 can sort of bounce back and forth, and they can be merged in a lot of different ways to make your learning events more dynamic, more interactive, and for the learning to be more durable. And as you toggle back and forth between steps 4, 5, 6, and 7, you will eventually come to a culminating experience, which is the assessment of performance. And this is where you go in and you quote-unquote test. And testing might be an actual exam that students take or they write. It could be an observation of them performing a certain task with critical indicators that you're looking for. But this is where you or a team of trainers or professionals go in and determine whether or not the learning objectives have been met, whether or not the student has mastered the knowledge and skills that have been presented throughout the course of instruction. And then really, really important for workplace learning is this idea of enhancing retention and transfer. So it's not enough to just introduce students to new content, present material, and then test them on it. We really want to ensure that all of that material and all of that content is crafted in a way that is going to make it meaningful at the work site, so that it's going to translate and transfer from classroom to work. So trying to blur the boundaries between these 2 different learning spaces, these learning and performance spaces. So this is what Gagne had to say about the 9 steps of instruction. And because we believe it to be foundational, and this is a course on foundations, we recommend that the lesson plans that you write are built using Gagne as a template. So the lesson plan worksheet is included in your course materials folder, and you can just follow along with it, indicating how you intend to execute each step and the amount of time that you think the trainer or the instructor or the facilitator or the teacher will need to deliver each one of these steps. So it's a very straightforward template. It's a great worksheet to help you think through the delivery of the content and ensuring that what you intend to happen in the training event actually does happen by giving the instructional team some really good, very foundational guidelines on how to deliver the training. So go ahead and give that a try. And remember, you'll be doing that again for the same project on which you've been working over the last 3 weeks, an assignment that you have at work, so a current or former project, and it's just a way to look at crafting or re-engineering those lesson plans into this format. So give it a try. Good luck.